Hello, everyone. Welcome to Level with Me. This is my show where I play through games and talk about what I think the level design is doing. And today we are still playing some more Black Mesa Source. We're about to start the chapter Residue Processing, which is it's kind of like the sewer level of Half-Life 1. But it's also not an ordinary sewer. It's like a toxic waste factory sewer. I don't know. It doesn't really make much sense, but you'll see what I mean. It's a sewer level, but an interesting one. So let's go ahead and resume the game. Is that too loud? Hopefully that's okay. We'll see. Residue processing kind of marks the second half of the game where we've just, well, maybe I should start from the beginning of the chapter. Nah, it's okay. So if you were able to catch the tail end of the stream last week, we just went through like a Star Wars like trash compactor sequence. Let me no clip up there to show you. So previously we got captured by some evil military folks, and then they just shoved us in this trash compactor thing, and I had to run out and escape and activate the switch right there, and now I was able to open this little escape hatch thing and escape down to here. I believe this is actually pretty different from the original Half-Life 1 flow, where I think in the original Half-Life 1 you climb out and you like go into some like ventilation duct thing, and then somehow that's how you escape, or you like climb into this other pipe. I actually like this flow a lot better. I think this is a notable marked improvement, where it makes sense, why you would do the trash compacting and then how that would actually like get disposed of. Here, the functionality of it makes a lot more sense. I think I would agree with a tweet I saw, though, that the caution striping on this is a little bit funny. It's a little bit strange why you would like caution stripe this hatch down here, but not continue the caution striping maybe like down there. I mean, there's some caution striping here. I don't know. It just seems a little bit strange. Like, it's weird to see just like a big stretch of caution striping like that. But overall, I do like the sentiment and the idea here, where we have to go down into this like giant pipe here that I think really sets the stage for all the sewer leveling that we're about to do. And look at there, you can see that's just human waste. It looks like that's just a solid wall of human waste. Lovely. Walk over here. What's over here? Oh, nothing. Just this little tree here. Oh, and then there's like a crane that justifies why there's a giant broken pipe here, where I guess, yeah, theoretically there's like this machine that... What is that? What? This is a little bit strange. Oh, that's a little bit weird that we can just see that from down here. It looks like the level designer forgot to like close off this part of the wall. That's kind of funny. But yeah, I guess the fiction is that there's like this gantry crane thing. We like gantry cranes a lot here. That lowers this pipe into place. But even then, would that even work? Would that even like seal off this thing? I don't know. It's a little bit funny in that you like go through so much effort to like justify this set piece, but then it still doesn't quite make sense. Like, how would you really lower that into there? And yeah, it doesn't quite make sense, but it's okay. I think what I'd draw your attention to more here is the lovely rock sculpting here. Let's go ahead and turn on some wireframes and see what's going on here. Oh, that's interesting. So again, anytime you see like a white wireframe, that means it's low poly displacement mapping that a level designer built out. And anytime you see the blue teal wireframe, when I turn on wireframe views, that means it's something like an environment artist built and modeled, and then the level designer placed it. And here, it looks like there's a very inventive blend of these two technologies that almost looks very like seamless, right? Oh, maybe not quite seamless. It's maybe more like Skyrim status here. The seam looks very obvious to me now, but I think if you're not really looking carefully at it, you don't really notice it that much. Although it is a little bit strange that there's all this like nice... The rock continues down here, and then there's all the sand still being blended up here. I think you might need to repaint the displacements so that they match this rock a little bit better. But here, yeah, looks like we have most of this canyon area is displacement stuff with some nice lush foliage going on here. I like the details here. And then that's supplemented by more detailed rock faces that we're trying to blend with this a little bit better. And it looks like they continue that a lot. Again, yeah, you can see that helps make the level feel like a lot more modern, a lot more crunchy, I think. Because, I think back in like May 2004, 2005, you would have said, okay, yeah, the normal map is enough detail. We don't really need more than that. But that's not actually true, because the normal map doesn't actually help you create any parallax effect with the surface, and normal maps don't really affect the silhouette of the overall shape. So that's where you need to model some additional detail in there to make it feel a little bit more rocky. I mean, you could maybe have done some kind of I don't know, like displacement map shader thing. That's maybe what like a 2018, 2019 game would be doing now. They'd use like dynamic tessellation stuff on it. But again, this is 2004 era technology built on top of 1996 technology. So, you have to appreciate what kind of technical limits that the Black Mesa folks are still trying to work around with. But overall, I think it works pretty well, I think. I think one last note on the wireframes, though. Hopefully it doesn't crash the game. Based on the topology, this is if you look at the topology of the mesh, you might note that it's just a lot of like triangles everywhere and stuff. This is what we might call triangle soup, and to me that signals that they didn't re-topologize the sculpt to make it like nice and smooth and do a nice grid. To me, it signals that they did it a little bit quick and dirty, so to speak, where they just sculpted it in like ZBrush or something, and then just ran a quick automated low poly retopo pass on it, and then that's it. So that, to me, yeah, it signals like an automated workflow. But here I think they were correct. I think it wouldn't have been worth it to like manually draw all the grid topology on the model. I think leaving it as triangle soup is good enough. And honestly, that's how a lot of assets look these days. With enough triangles, if you throw enough polygons at anything, you don't really need cleaner topology, really. That's like the modern 3D scan aesthetic now. Okay, let's look at the scene here. So first of all, just want to appreciate this cave, this rock arch. Really nicely done. What else is here? Oh, did something just spawn? I heard something spawn. Oh, that spawned. Uh-oh, my mouse just died. Uh-oh, Bluetooth mouse, come back. Where's the head crab? I don't see it. It's like hiding in some bushes somewhere. And I don't have any guns because I got thrown and I got captured. So, you know, this is like that video game trope where you get trapped in a prison or something and then you lose your entire inventory and you have to start back from scratch. But, you know, I mean, it was an effective pacing device back in Half-Life 1's day, and I think it still kind of holds up. It's more interesting to have to like build up your whole inventory and arsenal all over again. It's kind of fun, I think. And it's interesting, yeah, when you have an outdoor environment like this, there's just so much foliage everywhere that it was super noisy. I wasn't sure if there was like a head crab like hiding in this bush or if the head crab was hiding over inside here. You know, it's kind of interesting when you have, you know, readability as part of the gameplay a little bit, versus something like a modern Counter-Strike Global Offensive map or like a Valorant map where everything's just been really like smoothed and everything's at the same 50% gray that competitive players want. You know, sometimes it's fun when you have a balance of kind of smooth and readable and then crunchy, noisy cover, I think. Trundle's Bot asks, is there a name for a lose the guns trope? Not that I'm aware of, but I'm sure TV Tropes has some kind of lovely page there. Anything else about this environment? No, I think it seems pretty good. I think... Uh-oh, just spawned another head crab. So one note on fighting head crabs is that they have a slow turning radius. So if you just circle strafe around them, it's pretty easy to fight them. So they're kind of meant to kind of teach you dodging skills and to help you build up your circle strafing strategies as well. I mean, you know, that's like a typical melee enemy kind of thing. Over here we see like a dead scientist with a pipe, so it's like a little bit of environmental storytelling here. You know, presumably this scientist picked up the pipe as a weapon and was trying to hit the head crabs with it. And the pipe is kind of interesting here. The pipe makes like weird gun sounds when you pick it up. Potentially that might be because technically the pipe here is technically a weapon, usable NPC only melee weapon. If you've played Half-Life 2, there's like a brief sequence where a guy picks up a pipe and hits manhacks with you. So it's like an NPC weapon that's been carried over from Half-Life 2. But to me, this looked hand-placed. I don't know, or maybe he used to be actually alive? No, this looks like a hand-placed death. I don't know. Let's see, anything else going on here? We have a ladder. Oh, we have a nice spool of thread. Ooh, interesting that half of the... Or, not thread, cable. Interesting that half of the cable's missing. Boarded up windows. That's kind of an interesting detail. Why would there be windows on these things? You know, these look like reinforced concrete steel and, you know, concrete encased steel pillars. You know, why would you... I don't think construction-wise you'd have the windows here. I think you'd have the windows more on the wall instead of these pillar support things. Oh, a nice detail here that no one would think to look here. Where there's some blocks missing. It's very unstable. But yeah, this is clear level designer just having fun detailing and art passing this whole section. And over here we have those beautiful mesas. Those buttes. No, I think they're called mesas. Kind of evoking Monument Valley in Arizona. Anything else to do here? No, I think we're pretty good. Yeah, I think I liked this room in the original, and I still like it here. This is where Half-Life feels a little bit like Halo to me, right? Like if I just took this screenshot and then I didn't have like a crowbar, you might think that this is almost like a Halo level, or like a secret room in Blood Gulch or something. In future chapters like Surface Tension, we'll get more of that outdoor Halo feeling, but for now, this is just like a little bit of a taste. Oh, and then there's like a little, oh my god, there's someone's leg here. So a little bit of environmental storytelling. I guess it was a scientist who lost a leg. What's this black thing? I don't know what that black thing is. It looks like a prop that didn't catch enough lighting or something. Very strange. I'm not sure why there's this little, there's like a little thing, there's like a little secret ledge here, as if I'm supposed to find something, but there isn't actually anything here, it seems. I was hoping something was going to be hidden in these bushes, but I guess not. And then weird shadowing going on this wall here too, but oh well. But I like the idea of jumping off of the beaten path, so to speak, even though it's obvious that we're supposed to jump out over this railing. But I like it when games do that. It's a little bit of like a Portal-like gesture, where the fiction is that you're, you know, going off the beaten path, but, you know, from a gamer perspective, it's very obvious that you're supposed to jump over here, and they even breadcrumb it a little bit. But it's just there's no point to the breadcrumb because there's nothing there, so... yeah, I didn't know. I thought I was going to find the rest of the scientist's body over there or something. But yeah, this shadow blob, yeah, it looks like this bush is turned on to shadow blocking mode, so it's just blocking the entire thing. I'm pretty sure they do have texture shadows on, or maybe not, I don't know. But you know, you're probably better off just turning off shadows for this bush entirely. You know, this bush does not need to cast shadows on this wall. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to nitpick the shadows. Okay, I'll just continue, sorry. Well, I like this concrete wall. Oh, and I like that you actually get this sight line a little bit back to the pipe section. So if you didn't notice the pipe section before, maybe now you notice it over here. Yeah, my shadow shade, my shade. Let's see. Anything else before we go in? These supports, I can see why you would put them there. You know, they're like a small, crunchy, dark detail to help supplement otherwise this very like massy, big concrete boy. But, you know, it still feels a little bit strange to me to have these supports here. I don't know. Maybe I would have made them concrete. Maybe I would have made them feel a little bit more gothic. Put some gargoyles up here. I don't know. Okay, let's just dive into the water here. Ooh, okay, so I like this water material. This is one of my favorite water materials from Half-Life 2. You know, it's like this just really nicely animated one. And it's, I think it's called like DX8 water, DX8_moving water or something like that. And I liked how it was just like these blurry kind of cube map reflections. I like how it reacts with, and then it just feels like very like watery a little bit. But I think one reason why you would do it like this is because when you have moving water levels, I'm pretty sure this is moving water. Let's see. Anytime you have dynamic water like that, you know, you want to choose a material where it'll react well to the changing water heights. So yeah, this is the same water material used in the root canal water levels in Half-Life 2. Let's see. In the chat, Quasi-Otter says, I started streaming, not screaming, sorry, streaming Quake from my art appreciation students because I was inspired by Level with me. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I encourage everyone, you know, if you like level design, anyone can do what I do. I'm just a dumb idiot. Anyone can stream, anyone can talk about what they're feeling and what they're experiencing and what they are looking at as they play. So, you know, I encourage everyone, you know, yeah, let's make like a level design streaming community. Wouldn't that be fun? I like the voice acting on that. That was nice. Uh-oh, the head crabs see me. Can they jump into this pipe? Oh my god. Okay, no, they can't. Oh, they fell into the toxic waste, though. Oh, that's sad. Aw, poor little head crabs. Trundlesbot says, but no one can talk about a public bathroom for 20 minutes like you. Oh, thank you. Gee, golly. Okay, so this room is pretty faithfully recreated, I think, from the original Half-Life 1. I remember the original room feeling a little bit like this, but I think the ceiling was darker. In fact, they made a big point of making the ceiling darker in the original. They actually have the light fixtures suspended down like 10 or 15 feet from the ceiling. Also, the ceiling was a bit lower too, I believe. In the chat, Don, aka Unkonke, says, requesting a self-critique of some of your own levels. Well, you already got that with the anomalous materials section of Black Mesa Source, where I was just mostly apologizing for my shitty construction and bad texturing, still haunting this game in Project. I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, it looks like this got the hero room treatment a little bit. We have these nice concrete pillars, a lot of them, maybe too many actually, where they're even beveled. Look at that bevel, folks. Look at that. And then it's even textured to accentuate that bevel. Nice sweeping, you know, curves. You know, that's a Cadillac. That's a Cadillac concrete pillar. The vat. Oh yeah, this does actually feel different. Was there a fire pipe before? The fire effect still looks really great, by the way. Good job to whoever made the fire effect in this game. Yeah, I'm not sure if there was a fire pipe blocking before. I think in the original you could just climb up the ladder and go into the vat without really knowing what that was about. So here it seems the reason why you would put this whole fire pipe thing is to force the player to explore the level a little bit as like a very short, soft kind of gate, I think. Because you wouldn't want the player to just go, because this is actually the critical path where you're meant to go to. And all of this is kind of backtracking back where you're supposed to be going. Let's see what else is going on. I think the green is a little bit too much. It feels strange that the green from the radioactive toxic sludge surrounding us is casting light all the way up onto that pipe. That feels a little bit strange. Considering that it doesn't, like, the intensity doesn't seem to match. It's a little bit weird. So yeah, I think I would have lit that a little bit differently, and then also that would give you a little bit more leeway to leave the ceiling a little bit darker and make it feel a little bit more underground and mysterious. In the chat, Quasi Otter says, seems like it was put there for the throne shadows. Oh yeah, maybe. Because, you know, you get a nice shadow against that vat from the pipe a little bit. And then you get some nice shininess to show off the pipe and the ladder as well. In the chat, Noble Yad, sorry if I mispronounced that, says, if you think the green is too much here, check out the greening in the original Half-Life. Yeah, true, but I think the green had a fall-off, had a more strict fall-off because it would have been purely texture lighting. I don't think the green would have gone all the way, like, halfway up the level. Maybe I'm misremembering it. And then Rectus says, does that mean Joe was right? Uh-oh. So if you follow petty Twitter level design beefs, on Twitter, Joe Wintergreen was tweeting that everyone who played Half-Life 1 recently is playing it wrong because you're playing it with your gamma way too bright. And when you play with high brightness, Half-Life 1 is way too bright, and then it's totally destroying the original feel, intended feel and atmosphere of it. And then he said, what do you think, Radiator Yang? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I liked it brighter, LOL. And then he got upset because I didn't agree with him. And then I started trolling him with bad memes about it. So that kind of sums up the beef there. So is this too bright or too dark? Okay, so what I would say here is, no, I'm still right. That doesn't mean Joe is right. It means I'm right. Because I would just say, you know, it's not worth it to keep the floor dark. I think this amount of brightness for the floor is fine. It's appropriate. Maybe you could make it a little bit dimmer if you wanted to. But for the ceiling a little bit, if you want to... Yeah, to me, it doesn't because... Okay, one reason why you wouldn't want to do that is because when you illuminate the ceiling, it's just this big stretch of surface. And then if you don't have a high resolution texture, that means the tiling on the ceiling texture becomes more and more apparent. So if you were working back in Half-Life 1, that was one reason why you wouldn't want to illuminate the ceiling, because the player has a big sight line and view cone of the entire ceiling, and then that would make it feel a little bit artificial. So it'd be better to leave that more in the dark. The other reason why you would want to keep the ceiling a little bit darker is, yeah, for the atmosphere kind of reasons that Joe was trying to evoke unsuccessfully. Okay, so in true video game fashion, we follow this flaming fire pipe into this room, and then we see, okay, so we have to get into this room somehow to turn off the fire pipe with that valve, and then to get into that room, we're going to need a door. And I think it's really good that they have the door facing the other way, facing off to the right. So that implies, so then when you see this hallway curving off to the right, you can be like, oh, okay, these things will like join together and meet. So I think that subtle directionality is really key and useful here. I also like this corridor here too. This is very authentic to the original. And I like, was that just like a weird color correction volume trigger I walked into? What's that? Just like a guy going blah, blah. How did he catch on fire? I don't even understand what happened. Did he wake up and then touch the fire there? I mean, it casted some cool shadows there. I guess that was the whole point of that. And now the fire's gone, and now it's safe. I like that. I like the idea of putting all these flaming barrel things here. Although they look a little bit strange when they're just relying so much on the cube map. Like the bump map on them is way too much. Maybe put like a little fill light here, just to make it feel a little bit less weird. But I like the idea of putting these explosive things here next to this fire source. You know, it helps make the feel a little bit more dangerous and precarious, even though it's pretty safe. So I think technically we could just walk back and go into that vat, and I think that's the critical path there, but, you know, let's do a little bit of exploration here. Oh, picked up a gun here. Oh, this is where the grunt died? Or this is where the security guard who ran away died? He turned into a zombie already? I don't know what happened there. Oh wait, did the security guard fight this other guy and now the security guard's corpse disappeared? I don't really understand what happened. I like how narrow the hallways here are, and what helps make them feel narrow is that the hallway is like very like tall too. So it helps pull the weight of this room, like right, like the center of this hallway, you're like pulling it up higher when you make it this tall and narrow. So it's like this canyon kind of effect. And then, oh, this is like a cute little like tour guide control room, little observation area where we get to see all the platforming we're gonna have to do. Oh, Jesus. I'm not good at platforming, just warning everyone on this stream. I might have to like, Good thing they gave you me a gun just now. I might have to like throw some cheats on or something, I don't know. There's a little spool of cable here. Oh, there's nothing there. What's that? Oh, hello.
Minor lacerations detected.
Oh, and then this door is locked. Oh, this is actually like a dead end? I thought this was gonna be a secret way for me to come back if I fall off. Huh. That's weird. I thought it was gonna connect me down to the factory floors down there, but maybe I'm misremembering it. Okay, well, let's backtrack. Back to the... Oh, and then this little nook. Maybe we'll be down there at some point. To climb up this ladder. Oh. This is different. I think in the original you had to jump off these weird chunks of meat that were floating in the radioactive sewage. But now it looks like we don't have to anymore. It's a little bit weird to have this angled wall here. Am I supposed to do this? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Are there secret bonus supplies here for me? No? Because why else would you angle the top chunk of this wall unless we're supposed to think of it like that? Or I guess it's just an alternate way up to there? The vent is too high for me to jump onto, so... Do some more vent crawling to feel like we're like improvising all this. Wait, where do I go now? What? Oh, do I duck down there? Is that where? Oh, okay, that's a separate room. Okay, now I see. Interesting. I think I would have probably marked more of a break. You know, I like the idea of having this room separate into this little like crawl space here. I think that makes sense. From like a construction perspective, and it's kind of cool. You know, that's not a typology you see often. Usually this would be segmented into a room. But I think when you don't do that, you know, at first glance when I'm just looking at this, I'm like, wait, where am I supposed to go? Because to me, this drop doesn't feel like it's progress, doesn't feel like it's a separate room. I think I would have, I probably would have put either a red light here to help signal that this is like a different room, or I would have built more of like a top frame to make you duck underneath something to help signal that this is a different room. Oh, and then we're back here. I like that there's a door here and it's technically connects back to this room. Why not make the door openable? And then that's like a fun reward for the player to see how the room doors directly connected. But I can also see the argument for why you wouldn't do this. We saw this back when we were playing We've Got Hostiles, maybe like a month or two ago, where there's a lot of opportunities for the player to reopen pathways back into previous areas. But from a level design flow perspective, you might not want that if you don't trust the player to know that that's what that is. It's just like a fun bonus for the player to see how the area is actually connected. So if you don't trust your player and think they'll just get lost and then blame you for getting lost, it would make more sense to just permanently seal off the door like this so that you don't create that opportunity. And then sure enough, we're crawling in that crawl space and we can see above where we just were.
Power 17.
Oh, and then it looks like there's like a security guard here and he was just inhaling this lubricant? What? What were you doing? Well, I don't know what the environmental storytelling here was. It's a little bit strange. Was he just like sniffing fumes or something? Okay. Now we're in the main room that we were seeing from up there, so it still created like the feeling of a loop and stuff. And now here's where we have to do a bunch of platforming. So you have to be a little bit sneaky here. I think here the trick would be to jump on the upward. Or not. Maybe the trick is the exact opposite of what I was about to say. I died really fast. What killed me? Shouldn't I have survived? Oh, I think I got too close to the, piston. So that's what killed me. It's just a little bit weird because it doesn't feel like that's a danger zone, right? But if you do get too close to that arm and cylinder, you'll get crunched underneath that thing, I guess. So here I think the trick would be kind of what I actually was saying. Just don't step too close to the thingy. And then, oh wait, I just totally choked on that jump. First person platforming, everyone. But you know, where this level really shines is when you actually fall off and now you have to navigate this like underbelly here, and they've put so much work into the wreckage here. So really I just choked on that jump on purpose because you know, because I wanted to show you all these pipes and all the fine detailing they put down here. I did it on purpose. And so I could collect... Oh, I thought these were grenades. No, these are just cans. Why? It's very strange. Why are there cans there? Now I want to find out what the story is. Why are there just cans of soda or beer just sitting there? Very strange. What's this? Black Mesa cola? Very strange. Okay, well, let's backtrack our way up. No, that's not the way. So in the original, it's a little bit punishing for when you jump down, because what you'd normally have to do is if you fall down here, in the original, you'd have to go through that door, go all the way back up here, go all the way back up here, walk back, walk back, walk back, walk back to this main vat thing, crawl into the vent. It was kind of like they were shaming you. The level designers were kind of just making fun of you and humiliating you, making the backtrack so long and painful. You know, like a walk of shame or something for missing the jump. But here it seems like the Black Mesa developers are a little bit more merciful, and instead there's just a ladder here for you to climb back up here, for you to try again pretty fast. Okay, I have to try again here. Hopefully, I think I'm gonna go around that pipe this time. Oh god, I just fell off again. Okay, I'm gonna give it a few more tries and then just no-clip my way to honor and victory. Oh, in the original, wasn't there a ladder? Oh, maybe there was. For some reason in the original, I remember I had to backtrack always. Huh, I don't know. I thought the original made a point to humiliate players. Yeah, this platforming is also different too. In the original, as someone pointed out in the chat, it's not like this like piston stomp thing going up and down. In the original, it's these like rotating arms, and then you have to jump and run across the rotating arms. So it's a slightly different type of platforming challenge. Oh, and this one doesn't go under the sewage, so I can actually safely just hang out here. How nice. And I can just climb on this little pipe here and pipe my way to victory. Oh no, I can't. This feels kind of bad because in real life you can just fit through these bars, but in Half-Life this is blocked for some reason. A little bit strange. You know, you should definitely like put a grate here if you don't want the player to walk through here. But yeah, that's okay. That just means Gordon Freeman, yeah, is a little bit too thick or bulky, or Gordon is well endowed with a huge, wonderful ass. I don't know. Okay, jump across and don't die. Jump across and don't die. Ah, okay, there. Yay. Now, one weird technicality of this whole vat platforming sequence is that I feel like technically you would be able to walk around along the rim of these vats, but maybe that explains a little bit why they have these piston things. The reason why you can't just crouch walk along the rim of the vat is because this piston thing will crush you. So maybe that's why you would do it like that instead? I don't know. And the vat rims are also very slippery. That's very true. But there's no reason why they're slippery, right? That's kind of more of like a weird level design or kludge and hack, where I believe if you open up the original Half-Life 1 version, yeah, there's like manually placed fake slippery ice along the rim to prevent the player from cheesing it like that. Water filtration? You are not gonna filter water out of this. This is not safe. This is not... There's no amount of filtering. You need to bury that. That is not safe to drink. That's not even safe to bathe in. Oh, uh-oh, ah! That was a nice little moment. So this zombie's waiting in this monster closet, pops out when that pipe collapses. Is there anything here? No, nothing over here. So do we have to crawl in this pipe? No. That doesn't lead anywhere. I guess we have to make the jump some other way. Oh, like over here. And then maybe I can make this jump now? That's just like a mini little platforming combat encounter thing. Where am I going now? Going over here. I like the use of the brick here to denote that, you know, this is like a transition break into a new sequence. I'm not sure if it makes the most sense though. You know, it's this metal. This is a metal silo wall that's just leading straight into concrete. Feels a little bit strange. I think you need to like foreshadow more of that construction. That this is like a metal plate on top of the brick. I don't know. Some more toxic vat platforming. It's toxic vat, also known as Twitter, also known as Reddit, also known as... Oh, how do I get in there? How do I guess this is just a cute little scene for me to watch this monster eat out this dead scientist's ass or something. Okay, so it looks like we have to get here. Oh, and then this is where they're bringing back that classic gameplay, yeah, where it's like a thing spinning around and we have to carefully time our run across. So it feels like, yeah, this is like a Vista catwalk here that allows us to scope out the scene without committing to anything, per se. Or is this where I'm supposed to jump from? Actually, it looks like this is where I'm supposed to jump from. You can tell just because they put this metal plate here. It's a very Uncharted kind of move here. To put like, to overlay like planks or like a metal floor plate and rotate it roughly towards the trajectory where you're supposed to go. So it still feels kind of improvised or like wreckage, but still a very level designery signaling tool as well. I'm gonna try to make this jump, I guess. Or I'm gonna miss it on purpose so I can show you the bottom space. That might be what I do instead. I don't know. Oh, look at that. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Yay. I made it on the first try. Oh, there's some health down there, though. Maybe I should... Oh, no. I'm just too good. I accidentally made that jump anyway. I'm sorry. Let me just drop down here and get these supplies here. Ooh, can I break this open and... Oh, and then this is the door I was at before. Okay, well, see, you're reconnecting back to this previous area. It's a shame. Yeah, I don't know. Why not just let the player do this? Why seal off the other doors then? It's weird to reconnect, to do the reconnection motif only in some of the level, not all the level. I don't know. Oh, and then that's another observation booth. That's the observation booth I was in before. So potentially we could have opened up this door to reconnect with where we were before as well. Yeah, it's a shame to close it off. I don't know. That's kind of what I liked about residue processing. Oh, you also note that this little spinning thingy is too thin to platform onto, so that's another signaling technique. Oh, oops, uh-oh. Wait, the radiation doesn't even hurt you that much. Well, if I can get out of here, uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, now I'm just choking. Let's just say I made that jump. Let's just say everything's okay. In the chat, Roman Lux asks, why are there raised edges for this second rotating contraption thing? I don't know. Well, from a construction perspective, it's kind of interesting to have the raised edges because it's like a track for these arm things, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you for congratulating me on that jump. I liked how I did that jump as well. I think I'm good at jumping too. Thank you. Okay, so the first half of residue processing is the sewage vat section, and then the second part is garbage mountain conveyor belt. Ew. Oh, I like that squishy sound though. That's nice. Really nice job with this garbage mountain. There's like some nice blending going on, although the blending here feels a little bit strange. I don't know why it's like brownish like that. But I like the general approach to the garbage mountain. I think you could probably double or triple some of the garbage props you're putting on top though. Sprinkle a little bit more of these bleach canisters. Ooh, are there any supplies or goodies in here? Nah, nothing. Could run up here. Should I run up here? Nice construction too. You know, no one really knows what like a toxic waste garbage mountain underground toxic sewage garbage thing looks like. But you know, I believe this depiction. You know, I like these OSHA compliant fire sprinklers. A lot of fire sprinklers, maybe too many, but it's okay. I like that a lot of the massing is kept the same, so that it still feels like you know very tall and industrial. And then you get these, you know, these like fins or these beams right here. Oh, are these made of paper or something? Or wood? That's a little bit weird. They look more like metal than me. You know, it's like a Combine Citadel kind of thing. I don't know. Ooh, and I like that it's like a, subtle green, industrial green, sewage green, forest green. In the chat, KekTech asks, hello, random question. What project would you recommend as a first project for a level design portfolio? Are tools used important? Are built-in level editors such as Source SDK okay to build for a folio? Let's see. I mean, disclaimer, I have never been employed in the AAA industry, knock on wood. So, you know, my advice is kind of bullshit and kind of conjecture. A lot of my friends have been employed by the industry as professional level designers. So, you know, take this advice however you will. But I would say if you wanted to build some kind of level design portfolio with the intent of entering into the industry, yeah, you'd want to use some kind of tool that's as close to what a industry developer would use, which is something. Oh, look at that poo river. That's a really nice poop river. Speaking of the game industry, no, sorry. Here, I'll just, while I talk about getting into the game industry, I'll just pause over this poop river. So if you did want to build some kind of level design portfolio, you'd want to use some kind of tool that was actually used in the development of that game. So potentially, that might be like Hammer. That might be like using Unity engine or Unreal or CryEngine or Sandbox or Lumberyard. You know, something that's like an actual like industry tool thing, because that's what whoever looking at portfolio will probably respect and want to see. If you built a level in like the in-game Far Cry 5 editor or with like the Tony Hawk built-in editor or something like that, those won't be seen as valid professional tools. So you should not use those and include those in a portfolio. Make sure you use something that was actually developer used and developer tested. And as far as projects to go for, what games should you use to build for? It's pretty unfortunate just because it's the game industry is not really releasing their level editor tools anymore for a variety of complicated reasons that I yell about on Twitter all the time. But it's really hard to recommend anything just because almost everything will either be super unpopular or obscure, so then if you need help, there's nowhere to ask or nowhere to Google for help. Or the tools will be super unsupported, or the tools will be super old, or for like a game you don't really want to play. So it's hard to find a good game to mod for. It also depends a little bit on the kind of level design you want to do. If you want to do something that's more like walking simulator, artistic stuff, more like environment art and lighting focused, then yeah, you can use Unity, Unreal, any 3D game engine will show off your chops or whatever. If you want to do something that's more about gameplay, more about how you can do encounter design, or more about how you'd be good at setting up fights and combat scenarios, that's a lot more difficult for me to recommend something, just because anything that's like a modern military shooter thing will not have doesn't have a level editor necessarily, right? Like the new Call of Duties do not really let you make campaign levels for them. So if you're talking about more of like the design of game design, the design of level design and stuff like that, more about how like a level designer in some companies might be treated as, you would probably, I don't know, yeah, I guess like a Half-Life 2 thing would be with like a lot of enemy design and enemy encounter design and puzzle stuff would be good. There's a lot of interest going into Quake mapping, where the tools are basically the same as Half-Life 2. A lot of like retro mapping going on, where there's a lot of industry people making Quake maps, just because that was kind of the last kind of level design where you could just build a level by yourself and have fun with it. But yeah, it's hard to build a level design portfolio, just because if you want to do the game design part of level design, that means you need a game. You need a game that already has all this enemy design, that has good weapons and stuff like that. And you can either go into Unity and Unreal and make your own first-person shooter, or you can mod an existing one, which is probably a better way to do it. But again, that's also has its own problems. But yeah, sorry I can't be of more help here. Is that a rotary phone? Why is there a rotary phone dial? Oh, I guess this is the phone receiver would have been on this thing. Okay. It's still a little bit funny to see. This is a cool, it's like a fancy super phone. It's like a Minitel. It's like a French Minitel kind of thing. Anyway, yes, it is time to jump into the river of poop. Before we jump into the river of poop, I want to draw your attention to a few nice details here. First of all, just the shape and the overall flow, the vertical flow of this room is pretty interesting. It's kind of like overlapping and then caving inwards a little bit. What's nice about that is that, the diagonal flow of this helps signal to you, like it's opening up towards the flow of the poop river, so that's like trying to tell you to jump into the poop river. I like the pipes here, very interesting shapes that we haven't really been seeing throughout the rest of Black Mesa, so that's nice. I also like that there's not too many lighting fixtures here. I think I would have toned down these cage lights on this ventilation thing, although you do want to highlight the nice like radiator like details on this poop chute thing. So I don't know, yeah, maybe could have done a different approach. Feels a little bit noisy to me, but it still feels okay. All in all, I like this room because it kind of reminds me a little bit of like classic sci-fi level design a little bit. If this wasn't a poop river, if this wasn't just concrete and stuff, if you put metal textures on this would feel like Quake 1. This would feel like System Shock 2. This would feel at home in almost any kind of like sci-fi kind of setting, right? Where you just get these nice big chunky shapes here that have some indeterminate, vaguely realistic industrial metal purpose here. Okay, so I'm gonna jump in the poop river. If you want to map for Quake 1, I would recommend Trench Room personally. I like it because it's kind of like a SketchUp. I should not go into that meat grinder. I think that's bad. When you jump into poop rivers, do not go into the dangerous grindy thingies. Instead, you should climb out this ladder here. I prefer Trench Broom for my mapping, although some people also use another editor called Jack, which is like a community-made version of the Valve Hammer editor that I believe is also Quake 1 compatible as well. What I like about this room is that it feels really different, but really they just copied and pasted a bunch of stuff, right? Like this room is pretty much the same, kind of the same as this room. They copied and pasted some of these pipe segments, this poop chute, garbage chute thing right here. It's like the same room, but different, you know? These doors don't open? Yeah, it looks like they don't open. Although it looks like previously they did, right? And it looks like the level designer just kind of sealed it off for some reason. Although, yeah, it's just unused level geometry that we can't access anymore. Again, I guess I'll defer to the Black Mesa team. I guess there is a reason why that was sealed off, but still, it's a little bit of a shame. Like, it would have been fun to, like, have that interconnectivity between the different rooms. But I can see how that might feel confusing. Oh, this is the poop incineration room, clearly. It looks a little bit silly with the dynamic lights here. You just have like a grid of dynamic lights. I think I would have maybe changed this to be more like a line of fire. I wouldn't have done with pipes, with all these little fire pipes. I would have done like a fire, like trough urinal, just peeing out all this fire. That made sense in my head. Doesn't make sense now, but it made sense in my head. There's the poop computer. Glad I don't work here. That'd be really disgusting. You should not have open containers. Valvesoftware.com. Wow. Oh my god, this really is a metaphor for the game industry. This whole thing symbolizes Valve. Oh my god. That's intense. Very bold commentary, Black Mesa team. Hats off to you. But yeah, if you work in a toxic sewage plant, do not drink out of mugs. Make sure you have a lid so that you're not having like stray particles fall into your drink. That's disgusting. Okay. So now we've bypassed the grinder section. Oh my god, is this a symbolizing grinder as well? Okay, so we've bypassed the grinder part of the poop river. So now let's keep going. Let's follow this flow. There's some trigger pushes pushing me along the poop river, which is kind of fun. It's like a water slide kind of thing. But it's a shame because then I don't get to see all the fun scenery we're passing by. Oh no, I climb out here. Oh my god, that's just like a body part. Ew. I mean, maybe it's... don't get me wrong, I've played a lot of like violent shooter games and stuff, but still, just for some reason, I'm still not quite like desensitized to like just seeing dismemberment. You know, dismemberment is probably much less common in games now, right? Think about like Fortnite or Apex. Those aren't what I would consider gory games, but you know, you do that now in like a 90s tradition. Yeah, because it's meant to be, macho, Mortal Kombat, graphic violence. And I mean, this is maybe an unpopular stance in the industry, but I think violence in games does have some effect. It doesn't make people into like murderers, but it does something, right? If you consume any type of media for a long time, it's doing something to your brain. It's not doing nothing. But all these random unwanted body parts, you know, it's gratuitous, right? And the video game industry, you know, the story was the government threatened to regulate violent video games, even though video games are art or whatever. But to a certain extent, I would argue that a lot of the game industry was courting that controversy. Game developers were fully aware of the cultural, societal dialogue and discourse going on games, and they knew that this would court controversy, so of course they started putting more violence in their games, because that's what made it seem more edgy, that's what sold more copies, that's what got news and the government talking about video games, right? Like, to a certain extent, you can't just like cry wolf or whatever and be like, oh, we're really violent, ha ha ha, but please don't, we're not that violent, right? It's stupid. I don't know. You can't have your like violence gib cake and eat it too, or something like that. That sounded better in my head as well. Maybe someone can workshop that for me. Thank you. Uh-oh, okay, here's the flaming poop section now. I think the strategy here is to duck underneath the fire. Oh, yeah. What I just did just now. I like the speed lines here to like signal the flow. Nice use of particles. It's very anime, right? Can I turn off these valves? Oh, those are just fake valves here. Is there anything going on here? Why did I get out? Just a little bit of health, I guess, if some of those environmental hazards were hurting us before. It's the level designer throwing us a little bit of a line here. This is if we want to see some of the poop we just walked past. Oh, and get these little goodies as a reward. Oh my god, what?
65%.
It just gave me like a million guns. What? That was really sudden. That was really weird. What? That's kind of weird. Like, don't get me wrong. I like that it gave me like a reward for like backtracking and exploring like the whole infrastructure story of this level, but that was still kind of weird to just throw all these weapons at my feet like that. Like, just being like an avalanche of weapons. It's like it played like 30 sounds at a time. It was intense. But that's completely optional, right? They also have to balance the enemy combat encounters for the players who missed that giant weapon cache. So that's a little bit odd. Very uncharacteristic of Half-Life, I would say. Should we swim up here? And then go into here. And then I turned on that switch, but I don't even know why. Oh, that opened up the doors? Okay. I guess that's why I turned on that switch. I like this room, but I don't like how it's lit. I think this floodlight, the cone of this floodlight is just way too strong. And then it ultimately just flattens this room way too much. I think it would have been better to light this room by pointing this spotlight more just on this wall, on these doors that were open here. And I kind of wish... Yeah, I think you're just illuminating too much of this floor here. I think the floodlight focus should have been more on here, and then you should have left this a little bit more dark, and then that would give you more space to illuminate this control room as an important key location. Right now, this control room almost feels a little bit more of an afterthought because how it's lit a little bit dimly. Let's see, what else am I looking at here? But yeah, I mean, I like the shape of the room, and I like the repetition of all these columns. It feels appropriate, but yeah, again, it reminds me of the root canal thing, where these are like the canal gates that are opening and closing. And it's foreshadowing some of the dam stuff we're going to be doing in the surface tension chapter too, maybe. Anything else I should call out in this room? Now that we have the MP5, I feel like the MP5 sounds too powerful. I was recently reminded of a wonderful anecdote from a game called Enemy Territory, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, where that's a multiplayer shooter that was by splash damage. And oh, should I duck into there? That seems not safe. Should I not go in there? Maybe I'll go in there. Where I should not go into that grinder though. That seems bad. Where in that game, the two teams each have their own submachine gun, right? One, the Allies have the Thompson. The Axis team has like an MP4 or something like that. And players of Wolfenstein Enemy Territory thought that the two guns had different stats. That the Thompson was more powerful than the German version of the Thompson. But in the stats, actually the guns were exactly the same, right? And they couldn't figure out why players were getting more kills with the Thompson. Eventually, they chalked it up to the sound design of the guns, where the Thompson sounded more powerful. And psychologically, when the gun sounds more powerful, players become more confident maybe with it and do more damage with it and use it more often. So they actually had to remix the sound to fix the gun balance, which I think is a really interesting example about how game design is a very holistic thing, right? And especially something like game balance is such a psychological thing too. Anyway, that just goes to say that I think the sound on the MP5 should sound tinier, more like the original Half-Life 1, but that's just my opinion. Okay, let's look at this giant sewage barf funnel. I don't like this particle effect. It looks a little bit strange, right? I don't know what you would do though. Maybe like vary the size of the particles a little bit more. They just feel a little bit too uniform, I think. So then it feels a little bit like 1999 or something. Yeah, I wish the barf effects here were just a little bit more detailed, or you might need to add like a secondary layer of barf particles. I don't know. I'll leave it to an effects artist, I guess. Okay, so we jump out of this conveyor belt thing, and now we're in here. Ooh, I like that we're jumping on this. Uh-oh. There we go. I like that we're jumping on this chain link ceiling here. It makes me feel like, yeah, I'm like super cool for walking on a fence like this. Oh, there's another bull squid down there. Well, why can't they hit me? That's a little bit of a shame. They couldn't even see me. Was it blocking line of sight? But they can't turn up enough? They're not like Z-axis aware enough? That's sad. And then where's this lead? Oh, this leads to some... Oh. They're mocking us here. This is the level designer mocking us for doing this. Okay, oh, and when I turn that off... Oh, the garbage stops? Oh, and now I can go into there. Okay, so that was just opening up the critical path for me. Oh, wait, and then I backtrack here? Wait, was this here the whole time? Wait, I didn't need to open up these gates at all? Oh, interesting. I love this diagonal stairwell. Whoever built these diagonal stairs, so good. Love it. Oh, poor little bull squids couldn't even shoot up. I mean, shoot up, not shoot up. Although, if they want to use drugs, that's their choice. It's fine. Okay. I guess I'm not missing anything here. It just seems like a weirdly empty area, right? You have all this stuff here. You have, like... You have these interesting, like, cross-beam things. It made me think there was going to be something to do here, but I guess there isn't. Quasi-Otter in the chat says, it's weird that you have to do all these arbitrary things where you, like, pull levers to progress. Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I have a mixed opinion on this. So, in one sense, it feels weird to keep interrupting the flow of this, right? On the other hand, you could say that this is like a Poop River road trip vibe, right? It's actually maybe more fun like this. So it's like, oh, sometimes you're in the Poop River, and then sometimes you have to get out and make a pit stop somewhere. I think it's safe. Yeah, that looks safe, sure. But you could also say that this is good because when you do those little detours off the conveyor belt or off of the Poop River, you know, that's like showing you the machinery of the complex and helps sell the idea of this whole place as a system better. Ooh, can I turn this off? Ooh, fun. Oh no, that just opens it. Oh my god. Oh, awful. Okay. Time to not get stomped. I think I'm gonna get stomped though. The trick here, I would think, would be to just... Oh, now we have some gritty industrial music. Music to get stomped to. You have to do a little bit of a dance in front of the piston. Oh, now we're in here. I think this is the last section where this is just a big conveyor belt spaghetti section. Now, I think the critical path here is that we have to keep going on all these conveyor belts and follow them. But I'm gonna take a little detour to just explore some of this a little bit. Oh, trip mines. Interesting. I think the trip mine there... Well, why is it there? Are we not supposed to backtrack? Or is it supposed to encourage us to backtrack? No, I guess not. There's an artificial, like, wall there pushing me away. I guess you would put the trip mine there to foreshadow that there's going to be trip mines as we continue. It's weird, though, right? Like, the fiction of a soldier painstakingly running on all these conveyor belts to put trip mines everywhere. I think new to this, the Black Mesa remake, again, are these merciful ladders. Maybe I'll call them mercy ladders, where if you fall off, you can easily get back to your progress, like a little checkpoint here. Or if you need to take a little breather, you know, take a little bathroom break, you can just get off the track and sit here for a little bit and admire the view of this giant garbage processing incineration facility. Beautiful view, scenic view. But again, yeah, the construction of this is just so... I love the overall shapes here because to me, this evokes a previous era of level design where it wasn't cookie cutter modular level design where everything had to like follow this perfect grid and everything. Instead here it's like this industrial thing where there's just all these random like concrete things, but it also feels kind of harmonious as well. Yeah, to me this feels better than how a lot of modern 2019 2020 games would approach building a sewer conveyor belt garbage industrial level. Oh, and the chat Rectus notes the soundscape. Yeah, the soundscape is really lovely. I agree. Yeah, just the sound of all these machines humming and stuff. Well, I like all these little barricades here too. Or these little like dividers to keep us in. Oh, I think I need to jump off here. And then here's a fun little break room. Cute poster. I believe someone else has mentioned this before, maybe on Twitter, but health chargers are kind of Half-Life's way of, building in checkpoints. They're a little bit more architectural than just placing some health kits down. Health chargers help, I think, draw your attention to the point where you're at, to the place where you are. It feels more like a checkpoint, more like a specific place in the level. So even though Half-Life might not have necessarily like formal sense of checkpoints, I didn't even know that was even going to do anything. I guess that's good. Oh, and then there's like a crane I have to use. Fun. So yeah, health is kind of like the game design equivalent of a checkpoint. It's how you would use that. Ooh, can I go down there? Maybe I should try going down there. Oh. What's down here? Nothing? I don't know. You know, just this little alcove thing. I like that they kept this awkward little angled nook here. Although I don't think I would have made it so square. It feels a little bit too much like a perfect 45-degree angle. But leaving this nook here is it makes it feel more like plausible and realistic to me. You know, you go industrial architecture is full of these odd, weird little angles where stuff didn't quite fit together, and it's like useless space, but that's just how it is. You know, it's like an imperfection that is pleasing, I think. Okay, I have to jump on this little platform thingy and then jump into here. There we go. Do I go down there? What's down here? There's a ladder going down here. Oh, and then there's a little bonus battery for me. That's kind of nice. Like, the only thing that really clued me into going down there was the presence of a ladder. So that's like a nice mechanic to reward observant players. And smart players like me. And the most handsome players like me who will recognize ladders. Oh, uh-oh. That doesn't look good. I'm on a conveyor belt straight to hell. Oh my god. This is not the fate I expected for a game developer. Should not jump into that meat grinder. Should get off the track. Oh yeah, and in the chat, Schneidvob mentions wabi sabi. Yeah, wabi sabi is like the Japanese term for like pleasing imperfections. So like when you buy a really expensive bowl at Pottery Barn and it's like slightly warped and not perfectly circular, that's wabi sabi. Wabi sabi is stuff that's not like perfectly smooth and shaped. It's a little bit oblong and stuff, but that's what makes it fun to hold, and that's why Crate and Barrel can charge you $100 for that cup. Ooh, can I jump onto this shape? This looks like a very jumpable shape. Oh, but there's no point in jumping here. That's a shame. Well, I like putting this detail here. Oh wait, how do I can't get on here. I have to do this. Okay, so I have to climb down this ladder now, I guess? Is that what I'm doing? Well, I like this wall. Yeah, very classic. I think there's a Half-Life 1 wall texture that looks like this. I'm not a fan of all these fixtures. I would have used a different fixture here. I think the cage light, you can't just throw cage lights everywhere, you know? You have to be, I think, more intentional with them. I like that this area is demarcated a little bit here, so, you know, we have these, like, posts here that are meant to keep trucks out because there are these roller garage doors here. So now we have like the truck area, truck loading area, and then like this is like the people area. That's like an important detail you always need to do whenever you're doing some kind of industrial realism level design stuff. You know, you want to think about the diegetic fiction of this with the about like. If you did have such a shitty job where you lived here, or worked here, you know, where would you walk and work? Oh, why is it slowing down so much? Uh-oh. I don't know why it's getting really laggy. I think something bad is going on with too many physics things getting spawned and not being cleared. That's my guess for the slowdown. It looks like this was the critical path, but now the frame rate is just really going to hell here. Uh-oh. Yeah, I think if I had to guess, there's some kind of, garbage collection. I mean, oddly enough, what I would guess is there's literally a garbage collection issue going on with the game engine where it's spawning a lot of some object maybe, but not clearing them out and not destroying them, and now it's struggling to deal with it. Yeah, the garbage collection issue seems to have a garbage collection issue. Okay, well, I'll try to push forward as best as I can. This is kind of unplayable, though. I don't know how well I'll be able to do here. Oh, there's some Magnum ammo. Oh my god, I have no idea what's going on. There's some Magnum ammo that I cannot platform towards. I'm gonna assume this is the critical path, and this is forward. Oh my god, it's like running at like 5 FPS. Okay, let's try to push forward, and hopefully there'll be a level transition. Oh, uh-oh, ooh. Well, I like this room, too. Yeah, again, I'm just a sucker for these big, tall things with overlapping things jutting out. But yeah, let's just hope we can leave the garbage heap behind. Oh, here's the Magnum. It's weird that the wooden boards, these wooden boards, not boars, the wooden boards were preventing me from opening the door outwards, but oh well. I hope this is the critical path and we're on our way out. No, it's not. This just looks the same as the previous one. Am I making progress yet? I can't tell. Yes, 30 to 50 wooden boars, thank you. Shit, was that not the correct path? Oh no. Yeah, it looks like I'm backtracking now. Okay, but it looks like the frame rate fixed itself. Wait, do I have to do everything all over again? Shit. It's okay, once you've done it once, you know, it goes pretty fast afterwards. Okay, so I have to go here, then I have to jump down to there. And that's the wrong way, so I should go into this thing? But that seems bad, right? The conveyor belts go in dirty and come out clean. That seems like it's a bad thing, right? Uh-oh, frame rate's acting up again. Oh no, it's completely fine, okay. So do I duck under here now? Yeah, this is where I was before. I guess I took a wrong turn somewhere. Oh, right here. Ah! There we go. Look at that. I can platform, see? I think that room feels a little bit misleading at first just because you're given so little time to get the scope of your surroundings and to even realize you can jump off to the side. So the first reaction, I guess, is to jump off. I imagine if you like play tested that, that's what you would see from a lot of the data there. Ooh, really nice garbage grinder model. I really like all the interlocking blades and stuff. That's really nice. I do wish it was a little bit dirtier though. It feels a little bit too clean. Oh, now we're below the grinder. Again, a metaphor for countless sex lives everywhere. Oh, what's that? I should not go in the sewage. Am I gonna get grabbed by the barnacle? Yeah. Can just barely squeeze by. One general rule of thumb with Half-Life level design is that you can never make it mandatory to get grabbed by a barnacle. Because you always have to assume the player might have like 1 health or something, or the player might not have any ammo or something. So generally, when you do see barnacles, there's almost always, level design-wise, some way to get around them without getting caught. Because you have to accommodate for that edge case where the player doesn't have ammo or guns to kill the barnacle. Otherwise, the player would just get stuck, right? And that would suck for them. Oh, here's a bunch of ammo. Very generous of them, I guess. Why are they giving me so much ammo? Now I'm suspicious. Okay, let's reload. And this is just like a hallway and go up here? Oh, now we're in this giant electrified room. Oh, look at this sleepy little hound eyes. Aw. So cute. So cute. Ew, it's so gruesome though. It's so disgusting. Ew. Ew, it's like bugs. Ew. Okay, it's like smashed bugs on your windshield. Can I go through this door? No, it's a locked door. This is a set piece recreated from the original too, where it's the story of all these hound eyes being trapped in these little cat carriers, but they've broken free now. But now we're entering this new research facility where we haven't been before. But I don't remember the electricity puzzle being like this. How do I get past this puzzle? What is going on here? Do I have to climb up onto here? Can I like jump on this forklift thingy? That would have been a fun way around it. Oh, and then I can jump across to here? And I have to walk on that pipe? Is that what I have to do? That seems about right. Oh, and then they put all these grenades here as a reward? Why would there be grenades up here? That's strange. I think one note I would have for this, though, it doesn't feel good to walk on these pipes because they're so narrow. It feels a little bit strange. Oh, or you could have just shot out that plank. I guess that's an alternate solution to this puzzle. Well, it's nice for there to be two solutions. I didn't even notice this switch. Did anyone else even see that switch? Because it's like... Imagine what the player would do. You'd shoot these hound eyes. I'm standing here. Can you see the switch from here? Can you see the switch very well from here or here? You have all this electricity going on. That red little cage light's gonna get lost. I think if you wanted to foreshadow that and highlight that more, foreground it, you would probably make this chain link fence a little bit less built up, or you'd make this segment of chain link fence less built up, or make it different or something, so we can get a better sight line to that switch. Or maybe you can just let players do that alternate solution. Maybe that's okay too. Oh yeah, notice the very big change in scenery, right? So this is signaling a new chapter that we're going to be entering called Questionable Ethics. And actually, I think I'm going to have to stop here because I have to teach real soon. So sorry about that. Sorry to leave you on a cliffhanger. Go ahead and save the game. But you know, we got through residue processing, so not so bad. I think we put a good chunk of work in there. Anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out and listening to my random prattling and blah, blah, blah. Next week, we should be doing some questionable ethics, which is, I think, one of the highly regarded chapters of Half-Life, just because it has really nice interconnectivity and really nice fights. This is where we'll encounter a new enemy type and has a really interesting overarching meta puzzle to it. So tune in next week. It's probably one of the highlights of the Half-Life 1 campaign, considered by most people. Question the value of asks in the chat, what do you teach? I teach video games at NYU Game Center. We have a 4-year, I'm going to go into pitch mode right now. We have a 4-year degree in the BFA in game design and a 2-year master's of game design. And actually, my class in 20 minutes is level design. Well, it'll be the level design lab, so I won't be lecturing on level design, but we'll be checking in with all the students' projects and seeing how everyone's going. All right. Well, anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out and chatting, and see you next week. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.